yourself.
Hey everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me as always is the Ja Rule to my Chris Ludacris Bridges, Bradford Oman.
Hey, that's me.
That's your Ja Rule?
Ja Rule.
Monica!
Is that what he says?
When he loses the race in the first one.
Oh.
And she's like, fuck you, you didn't win. And then she leaves.
What's my motherfucking name?
Monica!
Isn't that what he says in that Jennifer Lopez song?
Sure.
Yeah.
And with us is our other co-host.
Can I be the J-Lo?
I'm going to say that you are going to be the Brian Earl Spilner of our podcast.
It's a character from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
All right.
The first two that I was doing.
Yeah, but I thought we were going more with like the Ja Rule, the rapper. So I was wanting to be the J-Lo to the Ja Rule.
Ja Rule
so
the
then
actor.
I could be like, we could
you
do
have
like
said
the
that
I'm real.
In like the more white way. Ja Rule the rapper?
We also have a very special guest today. We've got the Dominic Toretto of the Fast and
Indiana.
Furious.
All right.
Mike Flores is here.
What up, family?
That's a good impression.
Yep.
Way to go, buddy.
He is. He's got the he came dressed to play. We'll take a picture. We'll put it up on the social media. He's got the A shirt on and
Make
the
sure
cross.
you get his permission.
I'm not going to lie. People are going to be turned on by this.
It's a pretty attractive look. He's drinking a Corona.
Yeah.
Look at the part.
Granted, you have more hair everywhere on you than Vin Diesel has probably ever had in his
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are a hairy beast.
I am, but that's how.
But I'm into it. I am
I was
into
gonna
it.
say most people are, so that's why I just roll with it.
it's not quite Robin Williams hairy. It's like it feels calculated.
It's not.
Moving on. So
Ben's not comfortable because he can't come to terms with how attracted he is to hairy men.
that's hey. When you know, you know.
But you don't know.
I don't
apparently.
know.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
The reason that we're throwing around the Fast and the Furious nicknames this episode is because Mike Flores is approaching the age of 36, 37. How old are you?
I'm 38.
30,
But I appreciate all that.
38 years old.
He already approached 36.
Just for the very first time got through all of the Fast and the Furious movies. He had never seen them up until right now this year.
How many are there?
There are 10.
10.
You literally spent a day of your life.
Probably
with-
together,
Yes.
yeah. But over this entire
Wait.
month.
Okay.
Oh boy.
There's 9 Fast and Furious movies, and then
And a
the
spin-off.
10th is a spin-off.
Did you do the
So-
spinoff too? The
Oh, of
Hobbs?
course. You have to.
There
right?
are 10 in the franchise because the franchise does include Hobbs and Shaw.
But it's not the primary franchise. There are 9 primary Fast and Furious franchise movies, and then there is the Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Right. But according to Box Office Mojo, when they do their franchise thing, that's how I'm doing this.
Yeah. There are 9 movies in the primary franchise, and then there's a spin-off.
Just like they have the Tolkienverse franchise with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings all bunched together when they're talking about domestic.
First of all, no one has ever called it the Tolkienverse. That's just a made-up thing that you have.
Well, it's the Tolkienverse.
No,
You
it's
don't-
not.
No?
No one has ever called it that.
Did you also watch the short films that go with it?
What?
There are no short films that
Yes,
go
there
to-
is.
I was going to say there are
two of them.
I was
Yeah.
going to say because
Oh, is it the spy thing?
It's the turbocharged prelude for Too Fast and Too Furious. The film follows Brian O'Connor and details his escape from Los Angeles and avoidance of law enforcement, which culminates in an eventual arrival to Miami.
I did not. I didn't even know that was.
And
a
then
thing.
there's Los Bandoleros, which Dominic Toretto.
Again, saying things in the whitest voice possible.
I'm sorry, I'm not Latino. like
Los
you.
Bandoleros.
Dominic Toretto lives as a wanted fugitive in the Dominican Republic. He eventually reunites with Letty and other associates to plan a hijacking of a gasoline shipment to help an impoverished neighborhood. This film is set after the events of Fast and the Furious and before Fast and Furious.
Now,
Did you watch those?
I did not.
And-
It was funny because I think I got like halfway through, and then when it started to get okay, then there's Fast and Furious, and I was like, there's no number. I was like, which one is that? And I'm like, where does Hobbs and Shaw? So then I had to look up the timeline, and that's when I saw them, but I never went back and
When the
watched.
math becomes confusing, you just gotta stop.
Yeah, it probably would have been the right thing to do, but it
Now,
didn't
Mike,
happen.
I'm also going to assume that since you were dedicated to the movies, that you did not take the time to watch any of the seasons of Fast and Furious Spy Racers, the animated series on Netflix.
I assumed you watched that before, right? That's a precursor.
That's a must, right? I did not.
I didn't know that was a thing until earlier today when I was writing the games.
Yeah, It follows Tony Toretto.
Tony Toretto. Is he a tiger?
But that would have been funny if he was. But yeah, he's I believe he's Dom's cousin.
Let's race.
Yeah.
That's what Tony the Toretto would have said. Anyway, this is a movie podcast where we talk about the latest films that we've seen. We talk a little trailers. We sometimes we got time for a game or two.
Also some tomfoolery.
And some
malarkey,
some guffawing.
Yeah,
chicanery,
a bit of goofing.
And I'm your host Ben, and I'm coming off being a little sick, so my
Am I
voice
the only one who always thinks the word chicanery sounds racist?
Is it chicanery or chicanery?
I'm sure if you say it wrong, it can come out.
I thought it was chicanery.
It sounds pretty racist either way. Like to me, it sounds like what an old white guy would call like a bunch of like Mexican kids messing around in his backyard. Hey, you knock it off with that chicanery out there.
I think you're saying a lot more like Hispanic than what it is. Like it gets more Hispanic.
Well, that's the half Mexican in me.
I know. It's like chicanery. Like it's just like.
Did you
Sean Connery?
Did you just sneeze? You just sneezed Sean Connery.
It did. It was
Connery.
my attempt to have a Brad Latin. Like Brad doesn't even speak Spanish. I'm trying to like do an accent of Brad in Spanish, and it did not. It came out Sean Connery.
Yeah. See, tú no puedes.
Oh boy. Oh, Annie Hoozle. Let's take a second here. Let's thank the sponsor.
Yes. You know, guys, we're getting into the holiday season.
Yes.
Delicious treats are coming out on shelves. The flavors that you stand by: peppermint,
yes,
hot chocolate.
Go on.
Delicious fruit cake.
No.
But let me tell you, sir, you are going to enjoy fruit cake on this day because on this day we have a new Mountain Dew fruit quake flavor of Mountain Dew. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is fruit quake, shaking fruit to its core.
Is that really what it says in the bottle?
Nope, I made it up.
Much like the Tolkien verse, it has been made up on the spot today.
Ooh,
And
it's weird. That's for sure. I will say this: it's better. You guys are gonna try this.
No, you just literally put
yeah.
your
Lick the
lips
whole
all
thing.
over the
Fine,
thing. Why would I want to
you don't have to try.
You
it.
got COVID.
Good Lord.
I'll dump it into a cup for
You
you.
literally lipped the
I didn't lick it.
You tried to swallow it as you were
drink-
drinking.
Oh my
it.
You
God.
drink soda like my 1-year-old.
First of all, I don't wrap my mouth around the entire bottle. I literally sip the end of it like a dainty little man.
Were you one of those kids that mouthed the entire water fountain? Did you? Put
Not
your
only did
whole
I mouth the
over
water
it?
fountain, but I would drink from the water fountain and then kiss and spit water into their mouths.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
That's why they loved me, and that's why they called me the blowhole.
That's not why. And I think you know it.
Pretty sure that's not why.
What do you mean?
I think you know why. They
Anyway,
called it the blowhole.
it's not bad. So last year for the holidays, Mountain Dew came out with Ginger Snapped, which was like a ginger.
That sounds awful.
It was
awful.
it was terrible. I hated it. This isn't bad. It has just the tiniest of like the spice that you would have in a fruitcake, and like it's just a vaguely like
Have you had fruitcake?
yes, not great.
I don't like fruit in my cake.
I don't mind fruit and cake, but fruitcake in particular, the flavor fruitcake is not something that I love.
What fruit do you want in your cake?
I don't mind if it's like if there's pineapple and like a pineapple
Oh, no, I
upside
don't
down
want that
cake,
either.
or strawberries and a strawberry shortcake. You know,
I
stuff
want
like that.
cheese in my cake.
Cheesecake is delicious,
I like cheesecake.
but you don't want like chunks of American cheese in your cake.
Don't tell him what he wants.
Don't tell me what I don't like.
Oh boy. Anyway, it's not bad. This isn't the kind of thing that I would be like excited to get it again. I'm still chasing the high that is Mountain Dew's Merry Mashup. No, not Merry Mashup. Holiday Brew, where it was like a cranberry pomegranate infused Mountain Dew. That was delicious. And lately they've been trying
Can
to
you
like
check the back label on there? How many diabetes are in that can?
Oh gosh, I think there's at least 2 full diabetes. Oh yeah, this has 144% of your daily sugar. If you,
He's got the sugars
per
He's got
serving,
the sugars.
and there are 4 servings in that bottle.
and I'm not joking. It says 144%.
Oh god!
And there are just 1 serving. So if you have 1 bottle, you're good.
No, you're not. You're not. Put that out there.
No.
Mountain Dew slowly.
Mountain
killing
Dew
you.
Fruit Quake. Get it for the holidays.
Unwrap the diabetes.
Yeah, just wrap it up.
Well, speaking of wrapping up, thanks for the sponsoring us, Mountain Dew. We're going to wrap that segment right up. Now let's talk about the last movies we watched, guys. We'll get to Mike. We will get to you, my friend.
We need a recap of every Fast and Furious film you've seen.
And go.
For Nate Laux, what's the last movie you saw, buddy?
The last film I saw, I will get to in a second, and Brad and I will talk about.
Yeah,
but,
we have a little cool segment. We're going to talk about the last movie we saw together as friends.
But I was assigned a film by my good buddy Ben called Rush. and it's a 2013 film. As a segment or as a side to this, when you're with someone in a car and you've got a maybe an hour trip in front of you, you should start talking about whatever. And my good buddy Brad has done a lot of celebrity interviews in his time at Slash Film and whatnot. And so I asked him, as you would, who was the most beautiful person he's ever seen in person. Like you have to not just see them on a poster, but actually be there. And he said one of the people that is actually in this film,
Daniel Bruhl.
Chris Hemsworth. Is he not the most beautiful person you've ever seen?
Yeah, the guy is just a handsome statue of a man when you see him, and he's nice and funny and cool. It's like,
so we had about a 10-minute part of our ride back home from Chicago literally gushing about our crushes on Chris Hemsworth, and this film didn't do anything to limit that for me. I really do.
It's a really good film, by the way.
It is. It's directed well. It's directed by Ron Howard, which I didn't know beforehand, but I watched it. I'm not a race car guy. I'm not a F1 guy. This is about F1, by the way. It's like the European rednecks, and so I don't.
They love being called that, by the way.
My wife's European. So
I will say though, that's not really an apt comparison. That's because like F1 racing is nothing like NASCAR, and especially in Europe, it's like an upscale, like
hey,
rich
Brad,
guy sport.
Brad, let me make the joke, okay? Really, I don't think that's a good joke. I'm making the joke.
Your joke has to have sound logic in it, and I'm sorry, the premise rings false here.
So it's about a rivalry between two drivers. It's a historical film, though.
True
obviously
story.
There's a little bit of Hollywood in there, but the film actually kind of talks about in the mid 70s, there are these two racers that couldn't really be more polar opposites. And one of them is just high risk, high octane, not necessarily someone that races by the rules. It might not look like it, but according to everything I've read, racing, just like every other sport, really does have, rules of the road in a sense.
Very, very specific set of them, by the way.
So he's not one of those guys, though, right? He is very much a driver by his instincts, and he wants to push things.
He's a very cool playboy, too.
Yes, he's got all that going on. So in every way, they seem to be very different. Daniel Bruhl plays the other guy, and he's a lot more calculated. He's a by-the-books, incredible driver.
And he's also mocked for not being the most handsome guy. Like, they call him a rat. They say he kind of looks like a rat, whereas you have, Chris Hemsworth and James Hunt, who's this very...
Who we've already established is
Chris
the most
Hemsworth.
I was going to say,
person.
but is that fair to say that about him? Even though Chris Hemsworth is right there? That's
because, that's what the character is.
We all look like that compared to Chris Hemsworth, though.
Yeah,
we're all rats.
Yeah,
I don't.
And that is...
I compete.
And that's part of the movie.
It is. No, it's part of the comparison, right? It is part of the comparison, and in real life, that was part of the comparison. What the film really does, though, is it tells this season or two kind of them racing and then competing. Daniel Bruhl's character gets in a bad wreck, but I think at the heart of the film, though, is the importance of each other in each other's life. They weren't really, of course, the film plays it up a little bit more. They did have a little closer connection than the film makes it out, friendship anyway. But the film makes it out to be a lot more competitors, right?
Yeah.
But I think what Ron Howard is getting at is the necessity sometimes in your life to have people that push you that you don't necessarily aren't your friends. I think of this as a small kind of thing. My daughter's very academically minded. There was a girl that she's been in school with forever. They're not friends, but they compete academically and go back and forth all the time in their grades. I think they need each other, though, right? In some weird way, because even though they're not friends, the existence of the other person there in your orbit, in your world, pushes you to be better.
Yeah.
And so this film's kind of about that. It's a sports film. It's exciting. It's well done, well acted. I'm not a race car person, so I never really wanted to see this, but I was glad I did. I love sports movies. I didn't think it was a sports movie, quite frankly.
It's really not.
It is, though. I mean, there's some really fun
I think it is a sports movie.
racing scenes in there, right? That have a lot of
it's a sports
anxiety,
drama with
also
very richly drawn characters, and it's done very well. I think it's a great movie.
It's a sports film in that it's a film about competition. They're going back and forth.
I guess maybe I think of when I think of a sports film, like it's a sports film. The movie is about the championship game, or it's.
I mean, it is though. It's about their rivalry as racers. So much of it is based around how they compete and them competing for points during the tournament. So like a huge part of it is about that.
And what I love again is the play on the philosophical differences of looking at the life, right? So you have Chris Hemsworth, his character looking at the sport as a necessity to fuel his playboy, right?
Yeah.
Fuel his personality, to fuel this. And at the end, again, I'll ruin some of it for you. The other racer, who is a by the books racer, very gifted racer, decides I don't need it, and he essentially gives up on the sport of the competition because he realizes, in my estimation of again parsing the film, that he doesn't have to have that for his identity. I think Chris Hemsworth needs it for his identity. Sure. And so I mean, what I liked about it, again, it's hard to say it is a sports film because there's psychological elements to it. There's emotional elements. There's all these. There's friendships. There's
my point is it's not about like
it's not
winning
Rudy,
the big game,
but
and then all roads lead to that one triumphant
Certainly.
moment.
But you could say that about Rocky. But Rocky's a boxing movie. Rocky's a sports movie.
It is a sports movie, but yes, it's more similar to Rocky
The best sports movies do have those kinds of things. They're not just two-dimensional sports movies about like just the game. They have great characters that you care about, that you come to be invested in, and that have stories that you care about beyond the sport that the movie is about.
So again, highly recommend it. I'm glad I got to watch it. Good suggestion, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Ben, what did you watch?
I watched Rush. Now, this is a great movie. It's with Daniel Bruhl as a race car driver and the most beautiful person on the planet, Chris Hemsworth. Let me tell you what happens, Red.
The bit's gone on too long.
Okay.
What did you actually watch?
I watched Ghost Ship.
Nope.
With Juliana Margulies. This is a horror film set on a vacant ship. And I watched Cool World with Brad Pitt.
What are you doing?
I'm doing bits. I watched Ghost World.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You didn't. That's a different movie.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what he watched.
No, it's not. You watched Ghost Town.
Oh, that's right.
No, I watched Ghost World with Scarlett Johansson.
No. I hope you're joking. I hope you're joking.
This is not the bit.
I told you to fucking watch Ghost Town.
No, I really thought you said Ghost World.
It says Ghost Town in the text messages. No. For fuck's sake.
Listen, Brad, in my defense, okay.
No, I do.
Ghost World's
you
a great movie.
love watching coming of age films. You really do. And so I thought, okay, I've got to watch.
Did you really watch Ghost World?
Yeah, with Thora Birch
and
Scarlett Johansson and Steve Buscemi.
2001 film.
I did. I really thought that's what the movie was.
Oh, this is so great, and I love that Brad's so frustrated right now because this is so funny for me. That he really did not tell you to watch Ghost World, by the way. I'm in the text thread as well. But I love that you had to sit through Ghost World. Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was good. I thought it's a coming of age. I thought, honestly, I thought that's what the movie.
Yeah, Ghost World's a great movie. It's a great movie.
It's a good recommendation.
I've never seen it, but
thanks for the recommendation.
I'm not even prepared to talk about it today. I'm just. I guess what I'm annoyed at more than anything is that you don't pay attention. You miss the details.
I mean, the word ghost was in both of them.
In my defense, Nate had to give you 3 movies because he gave you your first one and you're like, oh, I didn't mark that off the list. I haven't seen. Gave you another movie and then you still had seen that one as well, and then went to a third movie and finally gave it to you. So,
you're right, and so
would you say that we both have a problem with paying attention to the details?
Well, let's go back and see. Is this the only time that this happened, or have you also forgotten to check movies off?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Exactly.
But I'm saying we're both.
Have you also forgotten to watch the movie that you were assigned in previous episodes?
This whataboutism will get you nowhere.
This won't. It's not getting us anywhere.
It's not even whataboutism.
This isn't even a good podcast right now. Guys.
What about then?
This makes for the best podcast.
I watched Ghost World, and it was pretty good.
Well, next week you're gonna watch Ghost Town.
What even is that? Honestly, I don't even know what that is.
How do you don't know?
You and I talked about Ghost Town last time.
It's a Ricky Gervais romantic comedy, and it's great.
Oh, I think I've actually seen that.
See, and now you see what happens here. See, Jesus
really
Christ,
that's really funny.
Jesus.
I feel like you should just go around and ask.
Tell people what Ghost World is about. You fucking idiot.
I'm going to.
Hey, and also talk about what happened to Thora Birch.
She's still around.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a coming of age movie about 2 young girls that are graduating high school that obviously don't know what the hell they're going to do with their lives. They are going through the typical finding themselves, trying to figure it all out. They've got crushes. They don't understand how the world necessarily works yet. There's a lot of angst that's going on, especially with Thora Birch's character. They find a sad sack kind of guy, Steve Buscemi, who placed a kind of a it used to be in Craigslist, I think that it was, or in the newspaper. You could see it was a misconnection where like, oh, me, nerdy guy in the corner, you beautiful woman picking out, cantaloupes at the grocery store. We shared a moment. I thought, let me know and give me a call. So he places that ad. Thora Birch and Scarlett Johansson see it. They call, acting like they're this woman. And then they go and stake out the diner where they tell him to go. And just he shows up, and it's sad. And it was very awkward. I didn't love it because it was really mean to do that to each person. But then Thora Birch, his character, decides she's going to seek this guy out and try to like find him a girl, because she does kind of feel a little bad. But then she finds out that she is more emotionally attached to this guy than she thought, and she sees maybe something there that isn't like all the other guys in her life, because he's really into legitimately old school stuff, right? The stuff from the 20s, 30s, 40s, LPs, 78s, records, all this stuff.
None of those things that are around anymore.
That she loves. Well, no, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I know.
Like they don't, I mean, Thora Birch is an 18-year-old. She's not going down with her peers to go to the latest record release party. But Steve Buscemi's character curates these things and loves them, and he's very nerdy about it. The thing I love about this movie is that they don't play Steve Buscemi's character off as a creep, which he could clearly very easily be in real life, or they could have written him in that way of like, oh, there's a hot young girl that wants to hang out with me. They just do develop kind of a friendship, albeit a very stilted one, because he's always uncomfortable that she's this very pretty 18-year-old, and he doesn't understand why she's around him in the first place. And Scarlett Johansson plays her best friend, who they have a falling out, they don't have a falling out, whatever. That's kind of a B plot to me. The main story is about Thora Birch's character and Steve Buscemi's character, and how their lives are intertwined and interact with each other, and they prop each other up and let each other down throughout the film.
Now, our guest here, Mike's a little bit too shy to ask this, but where's the ghost? There's no ghost in this, is there?
There's no ghost in this.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, I got you. But this is based on comic books, by the way.
So yeah, I found that out later. But this, I don't know if this is necessarily a career defining role for Steve Buscemi. He is incredible in this film. If any director saw this, they'd be like, I need to cast him in my next film. He was so freaking good. And it showed Scarlett Johansson in that very monotone kind of smoky voice that she's known for now. She plays it very well. And it does beg the question, why didn't Thora Birch have a bigger career? She's brilliant in this.
Well, I mean, it's not that she didn't have a bigger career. I mean, she was pretty around this time. Like this was when she was kind of in demand, because she had just done American.
Yeah, she was huge at this point.
She had just done
right?
American Beauty. She went on to be in a Limp Bizkit music video.
Of
Obviously,
course.
yeah. Now
that really made a
a couple years before that, I think, did Now and Then, which was a
But
big thing.
that was when she was pretty young though. But like honestly, after Ghost World, she really didn't do like a ton of like famous stuff. But like more recently she was on The Walking Dead for like a stint. I think she did like a
9 episodes.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, I don't know if it's like a personal choice for her where she just kind of lays low and like does what she wants, or if she's not getting a lot of offers.
Well, I guess that was my question, is because I from what few Thora Birch movies I can think of, I always felt like she kind of was typecast or played the same character over and over again.
Yeah, she did. She kind of have a tendency to play characters similar to her Ghost World character, essentially, like kind of a
little bit acerbic, smarter than her age.
Yeah, kind of monotone, like just like not quirky in like the Zooey Deschanel way, but
more
odd,
an acerbic Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, actually, that's the best way to say it, I think. But yeah, I actually had a pretty big crush on Thora Birch, like when I was like a kid, because she was like my age, and like she was like the first like young actress crush that I had when I was a kid, like when I like a very young kid.
She's not your age. She's our age. She's 41.
I know,
really?
and so when I was younger,
he was 6 years old and he was into a 50.
I was down to older ladies when I was there.
So
but
Ghost Train, go see it.
Oh boy,
no, I'm glad you actually. I am kind of glad.
So have you seen Ghost
Because this
Town?
has really great ratings, and I want to see this film now.
No, you should watch it.
It's in the Criterion collection. If
It's
that tells you
really,
anything.
really good.
Have you seen Ghost Town?
That's with
Ricky Gervais, Taya Leone, Greg Kinnear.
No, I was thinking of Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby.
Yeah, no, that's.
Have you seen Ghost Town? Yes or no?
I will have to watch the trailer for it. I'm not fucking around.
If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
It's so good. I love Ghost Town.
Are there ghosts in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a ghost film. So
I wasn't afraid to ask that time.
Brad,
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Is that what's the last movie you saw, buddy?
What? Well, the last movie I saw, I can't talk about because.
Okay, what's the movie you were assigned? Oh my god.
Well, use your words, buddy.
You know, when did this become Fuck Ben, the podcast? Like
when it hasn't been Fuck Ben, the podcast.
Right? I invite you on to be my co-host. It's a good show, and you just shit all over me.
Well, here's the thing. Ever since you have invited me to be the co-host, you have just given up your hosting duties and just haven't lived up to your end of the bargain.
What? I am a great host.
Do you hear this, Nate? Do you hear this?
I told you guys we saved this.
What's the last movie?
We saved this for our couple therapy time.
I just told you the last movie.
We don't work this out on the podcast. I told you guys this.
What's the movie that we made you watch?
Nate asked me to watch Beautiful Boy. I couldn't keep it straight. Nate had me watch Beautiful Boy, which is a family drama about a teenage kid who gets addicted to drugs. Steve Carell plays the father. Timothy Chalamet plays the teen who is addicted to drugs. Maura Tierney plays the stepmom. Amy Ryan plays the mother. And it's basically just a story of this kid struggling with being addicted to a bunch of different drugs. He does meth. He does heroin. He does a lot of stuff, and he just keeps going back and forth. But what the thing that I really like about this movie is, even though it sounds like it'd easily be an after-school special,
Yep.
it is not a melodramatic thing where like you have Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet like shouting at each other and having these big screaming matches of crying and everything like that. There are emotional parts of it for sure, but it is a much more subdued presentation of what life is like when you're a parent and you're watching your kid basically completely ruin their life,
kill themselves almost, right?
and essentially just be on the risk of death.
When did this come out?
2018. And it came out around the time that a very similar movie with a very similar plot to a movie called Ben is Back with Julia Roberts and Lucas Hedges, where she plays a mom. He plays the kid who is he's just come back from rehab and he's struggles with addiction as well. But yeah, it was this was very, very good. Steve Carell is fantastic in it. You know, it's he's one of those actors where I don't think he gets quite enough appreciation for his dramatic roles. He's gotten nominated for stuff, sure, but like when people think of Steve Carell first, they always think of The Office. They think of the 40-year-old virgin. They think of his comedy stuff. But he's also he's a great dramatic actor, and I think it's because he doesn't give these big big showy performances. He's a good, subtle, dramatic actor.
He's in The Patient right now, which is on Apple TV Plus.
I did just want to clarify, it's not an Apple TV Plus series, it's an FX series. What's it about?
Do you really not know?
It's about a patient.
In the very first episode, Steve Carell gets kidnapped by a
Spoilers!
Patient. In the very first episode, he gets kidnapped by a patient who he's treating, and that patient turns out to be a serial killer, and he chains him to a bed in his basement. And he literally goes to work every day, comes home and wants to do therapy with Steve Carell. And Steve Carell is a bound to the bed therapist. And Steve Carell's going, this is not how therapy works. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to kill anymore. And this is the only way I know how to do this.
So it's like Dexter meets Misery.
I need you to make me better. And then throughout the 20-minute opener, as far as the episode, in 20 minutes, they build an entire world and I'm in. It's so fucking clever how they do it in 20 minutes. Like, it's so worth your time.
No, I've heard a lot of praise for Steve Carell in this.
He's incredible.
Really
everybody in that show is incredible. Anyway.
Now, where are the ghosts in this?
They're in the world.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
Good.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, what's the last movie you saw? And if you say it's Ghost Town, I'm going to kick you in the face.
I honestly thought about this, like, how can I be funny?
I've been thinking about that for episodes, but I still haven't found
Ben's been thinking about his entire life, and
I'm funny.
I think like the last ghost related thing I could think of is there was a 2005 straight to DVD movie when I worked at Family Video called Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did with Juliana Margulies.
Yeah.
And it was not straight to DVD. It went to the theater because I saw it in theaters.
Oh, it was in theaters.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That Ghost Ship went straight to theaters.
That's actually got a pretty good opening scene.
That's what I've heard.
Hey, what about
Never
Ghost
seen it.
Rider?
I'm not joking, really.
Watch that
No,
one.
I'm genuinely serious.
I know that we never know when to take
I
it
have
seriously.
just
I've
awful.
heard the
You're
opening.
awful.
I've heard the opening scene in Ghost Town is good.
No, not Ghost Town. Go ship.
Did I say Ghost Town?
Yes.
Oh, Go Ship.
This is what I'm talking about. God damn it.
my word. Get me out of here.
The opening scene in Ghost Town is funny.
I hate you so much.
Oh, goodness.
Mike, what's the last movie you saw, buddy?
Well, it was F9. Yeah. They went to outer space, guys.
Well, they didn't go to outer space. They went to space.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and make that determination.
Well, you
in these-
do. You need to, because it would be
No.
because
No, you don't.
Yes, you do, because it would be even more ridiculous if they went to outer space. The space that they go into is barely above the atmosphere of the Earth, and it makes somewhat scientific sense.
No, it
Fuck
doesn't. It still doesn't.
off
Taking a
right
Fiat
now.
or whatever it is to outer space
off.
makes zero sense.
Oh my god.
They did real science studies to figure out whether or not
shut up.
they could take a Pontiac Fiero and fly it through partial space.
Mike, just right off the bat, you as we said, you watched all of the Fast and Furious in the last 3 months ish.
It was probably about a month and a half. yeah.
Okay, so out of all of them, let me just ask: do you have a favorite?
No, they all blur together at this point. Like they're just one conglomerate. you
Okay,
know?
so in this conglomerate of 10 films, do you have a few favorite moments in the series? What sticks out to you as like a moment you're like, oh, like maybe when Dwayne The Rock Johnson first shows up, or when obviously in Fast and Furious 7, we know what happened with Paul Walker in real life.
yeah, that one was tough.
Was that emotional?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I mean, you don't think you're gonna get emotional at such a silly
Right.
and out there movie, but you kind of at that point you're invested in the characters and them as actors too, knowing that outside of the film
They really were
they-
close.
We're
Yeah.
family.
they were family.
Okay, Brad.
No,
I wasn't trying to be weird.
He's right. They're family, guys.
No
They're
one's being
family.
weird. They were family.
Yeah,
Well, you make 16 films together and you start
10.
to know each other pretty well.
he's not
Well,
wrong.
9 and a spinoff.
There you go.
Oh my god,
A couple short films.
I hate you so much.
Animated
And animated
series.
series.
Someone kill me right now. Somebody throw a Miata through this window and kill me.
And Jason Momoa, are you excited about Jason Momoa joining the universe?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just any new character that wants to join the universe. I don't think you can go wrong at this
You
point.
shouldn't limit them.
You
No.
know,
Who wants
with
in?
John Cena showing up in F9, I was like, anything is now possible.
Why not?
Jason Momoa, great.
Well, how can you? I think the thing I appreciate the most is they looked at an opportunity. They saw like, you know what, Vin Diesel and John Cena look so alike. Why haven't we made them brothers in any franchise?
Fucking crazy, by the way. That's what they went with.
It's a brilliant casting. I'm just
It's
saying.
bonkers. So bonkers.
And Vin Diesel doesn't do anything other than these films anymore, right? And Guardians of the Galaxy.
He cashed a $30 million check as
No, this
am
is like
Groot.
his life, and he makes enough money doing it, and then he plays like Dungeons and Dragons the other days, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Pretty
a good
much,
life.
yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Hey, no, if he's made his money, right?
Right?
Well, he did Bloodshot. That was a big winner.
Yeah, no, that was a pandemic success.
Yeah, that one they're gonna turn. That's a whole new franchise now.
Yeah. You can't see Brad's face, but he's being very facetious.
No, I love Bloodshot.
So, do you like this series better than the Mission Impossible series?
I want to say yes, just to piss Brad off.
Please do. Please do.
Like Tom Cruise
I'm-
is a terrible actor. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know if you can tell me. I want you to say yes. So badly.
I was talking to Ben about this the other day. What's interesting about this series is how one moment is so like fantastical, that's so out there that they're just leaning hard into like craziness, and then the next moment they cut back to like, let's be serious about our relationships. And it's like, how do you go from throwing cars into a submarine to no, we need to be serious about this,
I
guys.
do
We're
love that
family
so
here.
much.
And it's
like there's an underground, submarine bomb that goes off, and then it's like, Mia, you and Brian have to take my nephew and never be part of this life ever again. It's like, what do you do? Why are you having such a serious conversation? It's so daytime soap opera-y with this octane fueled.
Well, especially with people coming back from the dead and stuff too.
Oh, it's just it's so
Yeah.
it is. It's a soap opera.
It's a blockbuster soap opera.
And again, first film came out, I loved it. I really did. I loved it, and I actually still love them. But first film comes out, I love it, and I'm like, oh, this is just like guys that are criminals, but also gearheads.
it's Point Break.
Yeah, but then it turns into like guys that are smarter than the CIA.
Oh, such a great concept, right? Like I'm sitting here thinking, Dominic Toretto is known for killing a man essentially with a pipe wrench, right? And so you're like, oh my God, that guy can totally kick an assassin's ass, right?
Yep.
A guy that's trained his entire life, he can't go
Mike,
against.
You forgot, he's not going back to Lampa. All right, and as long as you put those kind of stakes on the line, he's gonna kill a trained assassin.
Right.
And I just keep on going, come on, and then I won't blink. I'm like,
that's fair.
To me, the most ridiculous part, and there are a lot.
go
of
on, because
the one moment that I've just never been able to get over is I want to say it's Furious 7, I think.
Can I guess?
Yeah, I'm sure you know what it is.
Is it where he times it to catch her on the car?
Yeah, he grabs Letty in the air and turns and lands on the hood of a car on his back like it's fucking
like
nothing.
It's a pillow. Like it's a pillow.
Like oh man, I landed on this nice gym pad.
Thank God I landed
and Letty's,
on the
Letty's
windshield of a 1979 Plymouth Barracuda.
Letty's like,
everything's fine.
Have you guys ever tried it?
Letty,
don't hate it until you try it.
Letty is like, she's like, how did you know the car was gonna catch us? He's like, I didn't. And it's like, go back to the first part because the car catching you while it's driving.
How did you know that getting into a car accident with a human body and a car was going to work? I didn't.
Here's the thing. I got hit by a car once with my body that was going not fast, but let me tell you, didn't feel good.
No.
Didn't feel good. I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
Brad, I've stubbed my toe and it hurts so much.
And cried.
I teared,
as an adult man.
I teared up and worried for a while. And I was probably a young man when I did it, okay? I couldn't imagine. I can't even think okay, everybody right now, close your eyes, unless you're driving, and think of...
even then, because you're fine, according to Fast and Furious.
Think about this as an adult person that you are. Stand up, close your eyes, and don't brace yourself, but fall to the earth, right? Don't and imagine how much pain that would cause. And honestly, the recuperation, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be in the hospital. Honestly,
I mean,
something's going to happen.
Here's the thing. I could go out to the driveway right now and just jump up slightly in the air and land on the hood of the car that's out in the driveway. And it's going to hurt really, really badly.
I will still cry.
I see NFL players that are finely tuned athletes smash into each other and they have to get carted off the field. Human to human interaction, not human to car.
Yeah.
Dominic. But you know what? Makes for a great film.
I'm going to see the next one when it comes out.
Well,
I can't wait.
And to be honest, it is kind of realistic because, Rock did end up in the hospital once. So, I mean, they're showing that they can get hurt.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm. They're not invincible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
He did flex out of a cast, though.
That was pretty amazing.
So that's a great scene, though. It makes for such ridiculousness.
I mean, who among us has...
Not flexed out of a cast?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So of all the superfluous characters in the background, your Mr. Nobodies, your Charlize Theron's, do you have a favorite that was maybe surprising that actor or actress joined the Fast and Furious cast? Because I think that when I was watching it, I thought Charlize Theron being there in the first place was funny, but Helen Mirren coming in, what the hell? Really? We're getting Helen Mirren here?
Hey, it's family, man. When you got Deckard and Owen Shaw, that you got to bring their mom in. It's just sound logic. And yeah, her showing up was fun, and the character that she plays is fun.
Right.
Because what is it? The end of I don't even know what the title is, but the eighth one. What is it?
Fate of the Furious.
Fate of the Furious.
Yes.
Thank you. Where they break her out of jail.
Yeah.
Just
very cheeky, very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah,
so good. It is just, it's so much fun.
I think when the either the producers or the directors or even The Rock or Vin Diesel are trying to recruit people to this franchise, they probably pitch it as you get to have so much fun chewing scenery and just being whoever you want to be with this character. We've written this for you. Come on and have some fun. And obviously they are all having fun with this.
That's what I really like about Charlize Theron showing up is you can tell she is just having fun with it. Yeah. She's like She knows she's not going to win an Oscar for this.
And,
No.
she's
maybe.
She's like, hey, do me a favor. Give me the worst fucking haircut you can think of. and let me just have a blast with this one.
And also, I've been bald in Furiosa, but
Because I'm not sure if I want people to really recognize me in this. Right? I just want to have fun.
I would prefer to people think that I'm some kind of futuristic robot.
Yeah, it was. These movies are bonkers, but I'm glad that you sat through them. I'm glad that you watched them.
Yeah, actually, so it came off the heels. Funny story is came off the heels of actually listening to your guys' podcast when you first started assigning films because you watched the Before series and then
A lot less car crashes than the Fast and Furious.
You started to make Nate watch Mission Impossible, and I thought about what franchise have I never seen that people know and talk about, and I'm like, oh my god, I've never seen this. And then when I first watched the first one, I'm like, it's about stealing DVD players and camcorders.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh,
And then in
something.
Fast 5, they're dragging two safes across Central America.
Somehow is believable. I remember watching it and being like, that could probably happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a natural evolution.
I don't understand. They're muscle
theft.
cars. They're not tow trucks, but they're going 50 miles an hour with a bank safe.
We gotta get Nate back on the Mission Impossible train.
Actually, Mike, thank you for bringing that up because
You
now that
son of a
now that
gun.
it's
In all fairness, you brought it up earlier.
now that it's not Halloween
I
anymore.
know, but they didn't bite on it.
now
I
that
got
it's not-
lucky.
it's not Halloween anymore. We do. So your next
Do
movie,
we though? Because there's other movies
Your
that are.
next movie is
Actually, I
absolutely
don't
gonna
think the
be a-
Mission Impossible is on our list.
It's gonna be.
I know.
You got to watch the third one now.
Did you watch the second one?
I
Oh,
watched
he
the
watched-
first
yeah,
two.
he watched the-
Okay.
yeah.
Second.
Yeah,
And you guys are like, these are the best films I've
No,
ever.
okay, come on.
And I'm like, this isn't the best.
on.
I'm sorry, Mission Impossible 2, Brad, is not the best film ever.
You're
I know
right.
you say it. I know you have the bumper sticker and
Oh,
everything.
boy.
It's not great.
But Limp
I
Bizkit
would-
was on the soundtrack.
I would buy a bumper sticker that says Mission Impossible 2 is the greatest film of all time. That would be hilarious.
Amazing.
Well, Nate, let's talk about the last movie we saw.
We went on a date last night,
We had a nice little friend trip.
Yeah, cool.
and Brad took me to go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
I never get invited to these things, by the way.
That's not even
that's not
remotely
even
true.
true. That's not
Literally,
even
the
true.
last Marvel movie that was released, you went to see with me at a press
on
screening.
opening night on a Thursday. You're like, you're going to see it. Yeah, cool. And you're like, by the way, this counts. I'm taking Nate to Black Panther.
I'm telling you guys though, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So I was my sons were asking, did you like it? I said, yeah, I loved it. And I was trying not to ruin plot stuff for them. And my son Finn, my oldest son, says, Dad, is there a weak part to the film? Like, where do you think they should have done better? Brad, I couldn't think of anything. Not to say there's probably not if we really but
All right, so let's get into spoilers then.
no, we won't.
No
But
spoilers.
as Brad and I were talking about last night, Ryan Coogler got dealt a hard hand, right? I mean, no more than Chadwick Boseman, but your star actor, your franchise guy of this, who is the only guy that could play really Black Panther, because we just connect Chadwick Boseman with Black Panther, dies, he doesn't know it.
And he had a finished script for the sequel.
Did you find that out? Did he have a finished script?
Oh,
for
yeah.
it?
He had written it already.
And then all of a
So Ryan
sudden,
Coogler had finished the script, including Chadwick Boseman, for Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
And then Chadwick Boseman, of course, had been hiding his cancer diagnosis, and he passed away.
Yeah.
yes. And so I went into it thinking, okay, salvage something, right? Just make something of it. Try to pivot in a way that isn't terrible.
Sure.
Not only was it not terrible, it was moving. It was beautiful. It was so well done. As Brad can get into a little bit more, it did not feel like a Marvel movie. It was so good.
Yeah, there's stuff about this that it feels like it bucks the formula, and it's operating on another level. The emotion is raw, the storytelling is powerful. It's the way it utilizes its characters. It's great. There's phenomenal performances all throughout this movie. The villains are very cool. The action is stellar. It's beautifully shot. The score is amazing. The production design, like every aspect of this film, is phenomenal.
So will this be up for an Academy Award?
I don't know. I feel
mean,
like
obviously, in some ways,
it'll
the specialty
Will it
kind
be
of
up for
things.
Best Picture? Sorry.
I don't know. Gosh.
I think you can make the argument. I'm not sure if it would.
I think you could too, because the first Black Panther, did get nominations, and that was a big deal. But it came around kind of at a perfect time, and I don't know if this movie can kind of capture that same level of hype. It might be able to simply because of how what it does as far as like with the legacy of Chadwick Boseman, the character of Black Panther, and the story it tells based around that, and what it does. There's a chance it could, but I don't know.
You think some of the performances though could be nominated?
I think if there's one that probably will, I think that it's going to be Angela Bassett for Best Supporting Actress, because she's just
acted her butt off.
She's just absolutely stunning in this movie. But I think everyone really is. I think that Danai Gurira as Okoye puts in a great performance.
Letitia Wright does well. I know, complicated with some of the things she said online, stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, but I'm telling you,
very good.
I went into it kind of a little because she's got this kind of weird COVID stuff that she said, vaccine stuff, which I went in angry at her. In this film, she was just brilliant. She was just so good. I can't wait to see it again. Honestly, I cannot wait to see this film again. What Coogler does with also. So in this podcast, we've talked about and we gushed over the first trailer for this film, and we're all moved by it.
Yeah,
and he extends that really to his use of music and moments to the film in ways that it just so poignant, so good, so moving. He uses also not just music, but sometimes just silence really well, like just lets scenes breathe. I was blown away by it, and a day later, I think I feel it even more today than I did yesterday. It was just brilliant. It was so good.
Agreed.
And it was again when you take into context that Ryan Coogler was, he knew where this was going, and he had to go in a whole different direction, and did it brilliantly. What a brilliant mind he is.
Do you, one of the things I think we get tied up with now because of what happened in the first saga is that they all have to be connected though, right? So what I feel like we're seeing, whether it's the Disney Plus series or even some of the movies, they're standalone-ish, and they're doing maybe a little bit here and there to tie it back into the universe. Does it stay away from that and stand on its own, or does it
introduces
at all?
Ironheart?
So they're even it introduces Ironheart, who's getting her own Disney Plus series, but her character
she's fantastic, by the way. She's so
used
good
in this movie in such an organic way that like if they weren't making a Disney Plus series, like you would want an Ironheart series. Like it fits in the story very well, and it makes perfect sense. It doesn't feel shoehorned in. It doesn't feel like they
derivative
put,
or anything. Yeah,
sure.
It works the exact same way that introducing Black Panther and Captain America: Civil War did, where it's just a great introduction of a new character. It works in the story, and clearly she'll have a longer shelf life elsewhere in the MCU. But like, it's not filled with these like winks and nods to the rest of the MCU, or like a bunch of obvious Easter eggs, or bringing in a bunch of random side characters.
Sure.
But it's with the exception of being a sequel to Black Panther, it stands on its own very well.
All right, let's move on to the trailers. We did watch some trailers for this. Did you get a chance to watch them, everyone? Yes. So we watched two different trailers getting into the holiday season now. We've watched, the first one we watched anyway was Spirited, starring Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell, Octavia Spencer. I am excited about this for a couple different reasons. You guys know this, pod listeners know, love Christmas movies. I've seen a lot of them, including Lifetime and Hallmark movies. But I'm excited about this, and I love the cast. I love these guys. I know everyone's like, Ryan Reynolds plays the same part. Will Ferrell could be very similar. I don't care. I love him. But what I get excited about is this has a soundtrack from Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, who did the soundtrack for in the music for The Greatest Showman, La La Land, and Dear Evan Hansen. I'm also a musical fan, so
I was gonna say, is this a musical?
Yeah, it's a musical. So I'm very excited about that as well, because again, I love musical films. So I'm curious. I mean, obviously, it is a play on Charles Dickens. It's not going to be a story that we're probably unfamiliar with at all, but it should be a lot of fun. So what did you guys think of the trailer?
I was more excited about this before I saw the trailer. I don't think the trailer is particularly great. I don't think it's all that funny. I was hoping for something more, because I do like musicals. And I think there's a lot of potential for like fun holiday musicals, especially. But there's just something about this that just feels like they're trying too hard to make it this big comedic production, and I don't know. I found myself like just kind of shrugging afterwards and being like, oh, okay, this looks like whatever. Like I'll watch it, but I'm not excited about it. What about you, Ben?
No, I actually disagree. I thought that it was charming. I love Ryan Reynolds like Nate and Will Ferrell. I'll still watch them do anything. Even though I watched Holmes and Watson and it was just maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life, Will Ferrell can still do no wrong. He's just built up so much good karma for me.
Well, apparently you didn't see Get Hard.
I did, and I'm still willing to say the same thing. I still will watch what he's in, and so this looked charming and fun, and I do like that they bring up right off the bat that they understand what they're doing, because you've seen so many retreads of the same thing over and over again where they don't even call attention to the fact that they're redoing it. So hopefully with that in mind, it'll be better.
But at the same time, I think there's a part of me too where I wish that people would, and when I say people, I mean filmmakers, would kind of just be earnest if they want to be about something rather than feeling like they have to undercut it just to like call attention to it, because sometimes this bugs me a little bit in the Marvel universe too. They feel like they have to do a little too much of like the jokes to like undercut like tension or like something dramatic or something like that.
I understand what you're saying, but I really don't think that's what is going on here. I really felt like in order for this to work at all, you've got to be a little meta to like, yeah, this is what this is. It doesn't necessarily it doesn't feel like they were trying to like shove an Easter egg down your throat. It just felt like they are setting the stage, like we know what this is, and we're.
But that's what I mean though. Is I wish that they wouldn't feel like they need to be like meta or like self-referential in that way. Like just do it and like be earnest about it. Like make me believe in it.
Gotcha.
Like
just make a good a take on a Christmas.
Yeah,
Carol.
don't sit there and like it's almost like they're doing a pre-reaction to like criticism. Like they're trying to protect themselves. Mike, what did you think?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I thought, which was interesting because I remember watching the teaser and then this one. That's why I asked if it was a musical, because the teaser made it sound like a musical, and at the end of this trailer, that's when it started showing a little bit more of a musical number, but it didn't really get into the song.
It does feel like they're kind of hiding it a little bit.
So yeah, so
they
that's,
want people to show up,
of course,
right? But it's a Christmas Carol. To Nate's point, we've seen this over and over and over again, but you still you can't help but fall for it. I think this is a fun spin on it. I like the idea of a ghost shows up and says, because I didn't know this until this trailer, a ghost shows up and says, I can't work with this guy. And now you're being dealt the Will Ferrell card. So it's slightly different, but the same thing. And so for me personally, it's a Christmas movie. So I'm going into it and I don't have the expectations of I need to see something nuanced. I'm okay with that. I know what I'm getting into when I'm seeing this.
Make me feel merry and
this is what I
laugh and joyous and
and I feel that in this one, which is like this is a movie I will watch.
Yep.
And I know going into it, I'm not going to again hope that an Academy Award comes out of it or that I'm going to go running to everybody saying how great of a movie it is. I know that I'll get done watching it and say that was worth my while, and that's about it.
I think that I also do appreciate the fact that they are taking it from the perspective of the ghost, right? They're adding in that Clarence from A Wonderful Life aspect to it, of like Will Ferrell's character is clearly responsible now for Ryan Reynolds' character, and that is a different take. We haven't necessarily seen that before, and so maybe to Brad's point, they maybe didn't need to say this is a Christmas Carol out loud, because this is clearly a very different perspective,
especially because we already have Scrooged.
Right.
Right.
So like, and this feels like it's trying to be musical Scrooge with maybe a little less cynical sense of humor.
Which I'm fine.
I agree.
It could be fun.
I have higher expectations for the film than what the trailer led me to believe. I'm okay with it. I know there's a musical soundtrack in here that we know nothing about. I believe it's going to be great, just because again, The Greatest Showman was good, La La Land was great.
Right. So let's be clear. The Greatest Showman is a really shitty movie with a phenomenal soundtrack.
That's all I'm talking about. Is the soundtrack?
That's all Nick cares about.
So again,
But much like they were like in the 1980s, these Hollywood studios were like, "What's Rocky gonna fight next? An alien?" And then Predator was born,
and they had Rocky fight Predator,
greatest movies of all time.
Fuck! Why didn't we get Rocky versus Predator?
This could have been,
I'm okay with it. As Mike said, it's a Christmas movie. I go in with different expectations.
What is everyone's favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol?
I was hoping you would say Predator versus Rocky.
Spirited 2022. No, Scrooge. I love Scrooge.
Nate, He's got to think about this one. It's tough for him.
He's seen 1900 versions.
Yeah.
I just watched a couple. My son's in.
Again with
my
this.
My son is
get
in.
it. He's an actor.
He's in A Christmas Carol. So
Get a
we
hold
just
of
watched
Nate
a bunch.
if you want to see his real.
Including the Frasier Crane one from 2004, which is a musical. Did you guys see that one?
I haven't seen the one with Frasier.
Yeah.
Is it
Kelsey
called?
Grammer.
Is it called?
No, he plays
Cheers?
Frasier in it.
Yeah. He uses the same accent and everything. But
Does Frasier have an accent?
well, he's got
He's
that.
from Seattle.
It is an interesting thing. What is Frasier's accent?
It's just
He's a person.
It's more of a-
just a
No, because
just a
it
guy.
is a
No,
type of accent.
yeah, because I get what you're saying because it's not an accent, but it is like
No, it's an accent.
It is it's
It's
a
a better than you.
no, it's a dialect.
Okay, I'll go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you have that.
It's a
Yeah, it is a
dialect.
dialect.
He plays.
But I don't know.
snooty.
But I don't know what the dialect is.
Is smarmy a dialect?
Sure.
Because that's kind of what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Um,
Educated.
Mine is Muppet Christmas
Oh,
Carol,
100%.
by far.
Muppets the way.
Not even close.
It is a great one. There was one made in the 40s, I think, that's really good as well that I liked.
He could be making that
I
up, by the
didn't.
way.
I
What?
didn't.
He could be making that up. Well, there's one in 1939.
No, there is
No,
Really
you could say any
good.
decade, and there's a Christmas
Yeah,
Carol
no, that
adaptation
is
that was
true.
made.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
true.
also pretty good.
I honestly don't hate most of them. I like the one. I even like the animated one that came out with Jim Carrey.
Ugh.
I didn't hate that.
I hate it.
It's fine that you do, but
There's
the difference between you and me is so many things. But one of them is that I have joy in my heart.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Yeah, that's
You think I don't have joy in my heart?
You don't, man.
You think I don't have joy in my
Have
heart?
you heard you?
You know how many movies I talk about that are like delightful and joyous and just
Like, yeah, 1 out of every 300.
not even. You're the one who's like the curmudgeon grump at everything. You can't even like bring yourself to
Listen
watch
to your last critique of Spirited.
because it doesn't look great. And
Exactly.
it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great.
Honestly, if I had to think about it, a Mickey's Christmas Carol would probably be my favorite Christmas Carol.
I've never seen that one.
Mickey's Christmas Carol?
And here's
Are you kidding me?
Well,
Guess
and
what? You
here's-
just got a sign.
Here's a general admission of too is I haven't seen a lot of Mickey Mouse stuff. I've never really been like into Mickey Mouse.
What happened to you?
I was first of all I was a Nickelodeon kid, and second of all I've just never really been presented with like the opportunities to watch any of the movies featuring Mickey Mouse. I've seen some shorts here and there,
Man.
and but like it's more of just a pop culture awareness thing where like I know about like all of Mickey and the characters that surround him and
Well,
like that kind of thing.
That's
but I
why you don't have joy.
Yeah. Gorsh,
Mickey Mouse is
Brad.
the
We're going to
one-
have to make you watch some.
It's a
Gorsh.
terrible Mickey Mouse impression.
Gorsh.
No, that's not even Mickey.
See,
Mouse.
exactly. He doesn't get it, though. 'cause
Wait,
he's
what?
never
Who
seen
is
these.
it?
he doesn't watch.
Yeah,
so.
it's Kate Hudson.
What do you mean?
That would be more goofy.
I know it's goofy. What
It's goofy that you've never seen these movies.
Jeez, I'm gonna Donald fuck your face.
Whoa!
All right, we did see another one, and I think Brad's going to see it in the theater next week. Did you say?
Indeed, I am. Yeah,
A Christmas Story Christmas?
yeah, a sequel to A Christmas Story that nobody asked for.
It's actually the third.
And after seeing
Actually, even more than that. So there is an official Christmas Story 2 that was direct to video. Daniel Stern is in it. It's I've never seen it, but it looks as bad as you would imagine. And then there's a sequel that is it's called my greatest summer or something like that, where it's the character of Ralphie and it's a different story that Gene Shepard wrote and that kind of thing. And so it's kind of a sequel, but not really. No one from the original movies in it or anything like that. It's just the same characters. And then there are other quasi sequels because Gene Shepard wrote a lot of stories and they have been adapted into other movies and things like that. But this is the first official sequel to A Christmas Story that actually picks up from the original, features the characters, and brings back Peter Billingsley and many of the other original cast members for this movie.
Nate, I got one question about this. What do you think was going on in this trailer? Like, what is this movie supposed to be?
Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, it looks like what it is it's a comedy film from 10 years ago when like adult men got together and would do silly things, because their wives would let them get together once a year.
It's
Kind of
like
thing.
Christmas
It
Hall Pass.
Yeah,
Like,
it just-
what is
it's
going on
It's-
here?
that's the movie tag.
Wild Christmas Hogs.
Exactly. It looks like that, and I don't
Wild
love
Christmas
it.
Hogs.
There it is.
I don't love it because it doesn't.
There's
for
nothing
me,
here. There's nothing here.
Take
There's
the
nothing here.
magic of, and
There's nothing here.
I love the first film, and it's taking it's taken all of the magic of that.
This
and
trailer is
taking it
absolutely
away.
directionless as far as theme.
Yep.
I don't know. Is it a comedy? Is it a feel good movie? Is it a coming to a reconciliation that your father is dead?
So
what is this?
I'm chalking it up to that. I think that there's the stuff that they're saving that would probably best be representative of the movie that they want people to like experience is stuff that they can't put in without spoiling the story.
You've still got to cut a trailer.
Even so, like I think the presentation as the trailer, as far as it exists in this feels like a legacy sequel to Christmas Vacation, not a Christmas Story.
Yes,
like it's recreating similar moments. The dysfunctional family feels more in line with the Griswolds than with the story of Ralphie and his family. Because even though the story of A Christmas Story features a dysfunctional Midwestern family, and it's one of the reasons I love it, is because it's not made to be this like happy feel good kind of thing. It's like they're kind of a messed up family, you know.
It was like a real family.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It was like a real family from that time, and it has charms to it. You know, it has a little bit of Christmas magic. It has a little bit of cynicism. It has some goofy, childhood comedy kind of thing. And this this feels like a completely different movie, a sequel that like is to a movie that I never saw, basically. Yeah. And it doesn't even properly like reintroduce you to like some of these characters. Like you see his friends, but like it doesn't really like obviously let you know that that's the case, and like it's very strange. It feels very weird. And even though in some ways it's cool to have Peter Billingsley back because he has been acting all these years,
and he's behind the camera quite a bit too, right? Is there a producer?
He's a producer, yeah. It just doesn't feel right. Something feels weird about it. I don't know.
Agreed. And it's written by the same guy that wrote with Clint Eastwood. Like Clint Eastwood's kind of almost writing partner.
Unforgiven.
No, he wrote the
Christmas with the Cranks.
He wrote Gran Torino.
Of course Mule, he did.
The Judge.
The Mule. Yeah.
So it
only makes sense.
It's got somebody that's written some films, right?
He wrote some films.
Cool.
But not great.
Mike, what do you think about this nonsense?
Yeah, 2000 Mules is a great movie. What?
It's actually Ghost Mule.
Ghost Mule.
Fair. No, I feel like you said, the trailer is completely directionless. All I felt like is, let's take all the charm and all the most memorable moments and let's recreate it as an adult, but our call back to it. So it makes me think of like I remember, I don't know why I go here, but like when Jimmy Fallon first started, everything was like, let's make it nostalgia, and it brought a lot of people in. And I feel like that's what it's doing, is it's taking the nostalgia of the first film to get you in to watch it. But then it's like, okay, cool, we're making all these callbacks, but why? Yeah. What's it for? What's its purpose?
Yeah, the scene where the kid goes to the mall. Malls don't even exist anymore. Like,
right.
Or you're forcing this to happen, and it's not really what would happen.
Well, to be fair, this movie isn't taking place in our present day. It's taking place like 40 years after the original Christmas Story. So it's meant to be
in the
like
early 90s?
It's like the late 70s, early 80s, I think.
Well, the first Christmas Story took place in
that
in
would
like the 40s.
That would be good to know, right?
Yeah, because it didn't feel necessarily like that.
Say that in the trailer somehow.
No, it does feel modern.
I'll have to rewatch it.
But if you watch it, you see it's not our present day.
Okay, so the cars are going to look older.
Somehow even worse then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm going to see it in theaters.
Now you sound like Nate. Well, I'm going to see it in theaters, and
I'm probably going to love it.
No, I mean, I'm going to press screen because, like, given the opportunity to see movies that are basically going to be exclusively streaming, I want to see it in theaters because that's the experience that I do want.
Sure.
But Peter Billingsley is going to be there. Apparently, he's like there to introduce the movie, and like there's some kind of like pre-screening reception or something like that. So,
is your first question going to be like,
why?
Why?
I
think he's a producer on this.
As a successful Hollywood producer that doesn't need to do this, why?
You know what? Who else is a producer on this film?
I do want to ask him because I'm sure he's had pitches over the years.
Sure.
Why
this one?
Why did this one work? Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
One of the producers on this film has made two of the greatest Christmas movies ever:
Die Hard and Die Hard 2.
Fred Claus and Four Christmases. Vince Vaughn.
And you know what? We got to wrap it up here. We don't have time for the game. I'm sorry. We're just going to cut bait and run.
Here's the one reservation that I do think that might make me a
only got one of them.
Oh no, a reservation for like why I think the movie might end up being good.
Oh,
or at least tolerable. And it's because I feel like it might end up cutting into the part of my heart that has feelings because the movie is about Ralphie trying to reconcile the death of his father.
That's just specific to you, though.
And so I do wonder if like that's going to have some kind of effect, and it might, just might pull the heartstrings enough.
There might be a slight moment there where you feel
Wait.
something. So, Brad, you didn't like Spirited trailer.
I won't say I didn't like it.
Are you more excited to see Spirited though?
No. I'm more interested because of the legacy that comes with a Christmas Story, so I'm already like kind of engaged with that. And Spirited I'll watch because it's Christmas and whatever.
No, I'm way more excited about Spirited. Way more.
That's just because you're this little musical man.
You're a little musical man.
And it's Christmas. I mean, it's a combination for
And it doesn't look like it sucks.
Well,
fair point there, Nate.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
All right. Do we have time, Nate, or do you have to go?
I need to go. It's 6:15 roughly. So
All right.
Well, boys, it was fun.
We had like 2 minutes?
we've got we're an hour and 10 in, or
No,
an hour
like-
11 in.
Like 2 minutes physically in the world right now to do this?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to play one very quick game, which means, oh, fuck, I have to come up with a stupid song.
Yeah, pick a Christmas song.
No,
Hurry.
no, it's not a Christmas song. It's we're doing Fast and Furious.
Okay.
From what's the song from Fast and Furious?
It's been a
No, God,
day without you, my
No.
friend.
Too Fast, Too Furious. That's the song I want to do.
Okay, that's
Too
gonna be
fast.
way, that's gonna be
Go.
way harder than the one we just did. But go ahead, buddy.
Too Fast. Too
You can't just say that.
Furious.
Yeah, you can't just say that.
Let's play some games. Are you curious? Ja Rule.
What is this slam?
You're in school. Stick with me.
You can't even do the
And you
rap.
see-
Too fast, too furious.
Too fast.
Oh my!
Too furious. Ja Rule. You're in school.
Yeah.
All right, wait,
It's like the 21 Jump Street scene where Jonah has to do the slam
Slam
poetry.
poetry.
Yelling, waving my arms around a lot. Ja Rule.
better
Too
than-
fast,
that
too
is-
furious.
That is better than anything Ja Rule has done in 20 years.
No, that's true.
Fair.
All right, so just very quickly, the Fast and the Furious franchise has 10 films, including Hobbs and Shaw, under its belt. It is Mike, Brad,
Can
Nate,
you name them all?
has it made more or less than the 6 films in the Jurassic Park franchise, including the re-releases of both franchises?
More.
You think that Fast and Furious has made more? Brad, fuck, Mike, your name is Mike.
Yeah,
look
more.
at you, Mike.
Have you seen them more?
More,
I'm going to say less.
less. Nate is correct.
Wow.
Less by $400,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's
I'm
so
tuned in.
little.
I'm tuned
And
in.
lastly, who was originally either offered the part or the
Mm.
part was specifically written with this person in mind for the following roles? Nate, Hobbs, Michael Douglas, Tommy Lee Jones, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was originally thought of, written for, or offered the part? Michael Douglas, Tommy Lee Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger for Hobbs.
I'm going to go with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh my god.
I know. Let's.
Mike, Mia.
The crazy thing about the Tommy Lee Jones casting is they wanted him to bulk up to the Rock's size.
Mike, Mia.
Jessica Alba.
Well,
No,
Jesus. Well, it's Babe Ruth in it. Okay. Eliza Dushku, Shannon Elizabeth, or Robin Tunney. She's from The Craft.
Tooney, right?
Tooney? Is it Tooney? From The Craft and Encino Man?
Sure.
Elijah Dushku.
Correct. Brad?
Did you know that or did you guess that?
That was a guess.
Brian
I don't want Jessica
Brian
Alba.
Earl Spillner. Eminem, Channing Tatum, or Ashton Kutcher?
I know this one.
I believe it was Channing Tatum.
I think it was Eminem.
Eminem.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why I came across that fact recently.
And last one,
Slim
let's
Shady
just-
album.
here's a
Yeah.
toss-up. First one to just buzz in with the right answer wins. Dominic Toretto was offered to A, Guy Pearce, B, Timothy Oliphant, or C, Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
Timothy Oliphant.
Guy Pearce.
It's Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, dang.
Bing, bang, bang, bang.
They approved the budget for the film based on the fact that they would offer it to Timothy Oliphant,
That's crazy.
who passed, by the way.
Well, yeah,
All right.
no, I know. We watched it.
And
Too fast, too furious.
and he's all the better for it.
He is all the better for it.
Is he
Actually,
He could be
he
Groot
had a
right
great
now.
career. He's had a great career.
Yeah, no, that's what I
No,
mean.
he's fine.
I'm being serious.
he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
All right, well, let's, you guys, Mike,
He's right.
Mike,
Yeah.
thank you for dressing up like Dominic Toretto,
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
Corona is wearing a necklace. We will take a photo of you, put it online. Family.
He's got to hold the bowl of Coronas.
He will. Bradford Oman, you write for Slash Film. Nate, you are a person. Everybody's been here.
Rate the podcast.
Rate us. Love us. We love you.
5 stars.
Go to wherever we host podcasts.
Please.
Go to the YouTube. Do whatever. Facebook or Twitter us.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
หน้าที่เจ๋งไง